Oh, we're twinsies. Look at that.
I know, I know.
Wow.
I didn't wear my sexy librarian glasses though.
Oh, you like these? I can do that. So I can give you the stern look.
So before I get started, do you have a concussion?
Not anymore. I think I had a mild one, and if I did have one, it was very very mild. Because I woke up the next day with a little bit of a headache, but my neck is more sore than anything. But hey, look, that's what the helmets are for, right?
Did you hit the back of the head on the?
Yeah, I just caught it. We were coming down. It was actually figures the last round of the day, the last day on vacation, and just caught an edge. It was getting icy out. I caught an edge and was hauling ass and just nailed it. I did the whole yard sale thing. So I had the skis were everywhere, and I was just laying there for a while and dented the helmet. But that's exactly why we wear those things. So that's what I get for going fast and being fatigued. But it was good. So no, I was definitely dazed, and it's been a long time since I've had like a concussion. I had one like as a kid, so I don't really remember the feeling, but it definitely felt it was but nothing would a beer and a ski shot couldn't handle, or shot ski couldn't handle. Couldn't
Exactly.
fix.
There you go.
I think that's like the doctor approved remedy is just you ski straight to the bar before you even go back down, right?
I think you have to.
I think so many people are probably freaking out when they hear that. They're like, "Oh my God, you're not supposed to drink with the concussion." It's like, well, you know what? It sounded good at the time.
You can drink, you're just not supposed to go to sleep.
Right, that was it. So besides that, and I don't know math anymore, so I don't think it's really that bad.
Perfect. Well, that being said, we thank you even more for coming on this. I know you've had a busy time, and you've probably jet lagged. But thanks for doing this. And before you came on, I was just kind of telling everybody, I said I wasn't going to blow smoke up your ass, but I will a little bit. The fact that Joel comes on and does these calls says a ton about him. Just the fact that he just landed on an international flight yesterday and is going to come on and chat with you guys. Totally appreciate it. So we've got a mix of coaches and clients on here. We ran kind of a little special thing for some of our clients. And I think most of us are going to jump in and are starting a brand new round on March 4th with Lift 4.
Awesome.
I never like saying a program is our favorite, but this one definitely people lean towards it for a number of reasons. Why do you think it's become so popular so fast?
Yeah, so many reasons. Well, first of all, and I gotta say thank you for having me on, man. I mean, look, you guys are the reason why, I have a job, and yeah, you're, just because you're the better Fitzpatrick looking, better looking brother. I mean, that helps too. But you as coaches are the reason why I get to do this and love this and this. So this is great. So it's never a hesitation to jump on a coach call. And so yeah, like a little jet lagged, wearing glasses because like my eyeballs are so tired they're like rejecting the contacts today. That's pretty much what's happening on that. So thank you for that, man, and thank you for everyone for pushing through and making Lift 4 one of the, it was the most successful launch in terms of unit sales, which means that we had more people doing Lift 4. It wasn't about the revenue, it was about the fact that we, in that launch, there were more people that decided to do it. And I think that's been awesome. And I think it was, from day one, it was such a collaborative project that we had, and Carl and I were on the same page from day one with what we wanted this to be. And sometimes there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen when a program comes during development and prod dev and everything with a program. So with all the cooks that we have in the kitchen during a project, everyone was on the same page for this one. I think that was huge. That lended to the simplicity and the success in the way we filmed the program. And, we were able to do some things a little bit different. And I was really adamant about wanting to film this program differently in terms of, it was a newer concept in the home fitness world of the trainer not doing the workout. And everyone was like, oh my God, Joel's not doing the workout. So, what's the deal? And I was like, well, because it's a training program. It's not a workout. It's not like, hey, how much weight can I lift? Who gives a shit? It's up to you guys. Like, this is all about you. And as a personal trainer, I never did my workouts with my clients. That's not how this works. So it was a lot of things. And I think it really, the longest answer to your question, I think it was a perfect storm. I really do, in terms of from day one of development to what Carl was wanting and the Beachbody team and what I envisioned for a home workout program. This is the culmination of 15 plus years for myself in the fitness industry, of what I've seen and the struggles that I've seen and the barriers that I've heard and excuses, all that stuff. And I was like, this is a chance to really come after and make something that's not just an 8-week program, but is a true lifestyle program that now you can filter in. Is a lot of people saw you could do this program with Transform 20, and you can you just take out the hip part, and you just do the lift. So it's so moldable to every walk of life, every circumstance that you have going on. It works for everybody, anywhere, anytime.
Cool. Again, I think that's why it is so popular and why people couldn't wait to come back to this. Just because, again, we're so many moms, dads on the teams. It's sometimes 6 days a week isn't always, fitting everybody's schedule. But with the 4, I think it made everybody feel that much more positive about actually being able to stick to the program. So
the realistic aspect of it was huge for me. I don't want to work out 6 days a week most of the time. I do, but half the time I really don't. And I don't come from a fitness background. I've been doing it for a long time, but I think that because I didn't come from, I didn't go to school for this. I went to school because that was the thing to do. And I just bartended and did construction and changed my major every semester because I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I kind of fell into this, and then I started enjoying it. I love the positive environment, the positivity that came with it. So that's what kept me in. But I think because I don't come from a background where I was fully into it, I have more of a realistic foundation that's based on expectations. And I've worked for so long in seeing in selling gym memberships and personal training that I saw those excuses and those barriers, and the fact that look, this is real life. Fitness is this is not real life. The fitness is not real life. What is happening to people every single day in terms of you working 40 plus hours or more and double jobs and family, that's real life. This is a small 30 to 45 to 60 minutes, if you're lucky, 3 to 4 days a week. That's realistic for people. And that's what I really wanted to nail with Live 4. And I feel like we did.
So for a brand new person, what's the best advice you could give somebody who hasn't lifted before, maybe a little intimidated with the program? What's your best advice for somebody brand new?
Well, there's for everything that comes out, there's always those things of people that I don't want to lift because I don't want to get bulky. And there's a lot of misnomers out there about weightlifting. There's a lot of misnomers out there about everything. Even being a team Beachbody coach, I'm sure every single one of you on this call, if you're a coach, have had one of those, that incorrect misnomer, or that's a double negative, at one point. And so we've all been there. But, with weights, weights are, I get it. They're intimidating, but so is everything else the first time you try it, right? In our bodies, we're so adapted to being comfortable, and getting out of your comfort zone is uncomfortable. So people don't really want to do it. And so, with weights, luckily, we're going in the right direction, I think, in the world of weightlifting. There's a lot of there's because for so long in a lot of my fitness history and when my career has been with Gold's Gym. So I was in that world for a long time, and I saw even with Gold's Gym, they were dealing with that because, what first started the weightlifting world were bodybuilders. That was the thing, and pumping iron and Arnold and all these guys. And that's what everyone came to think, that that's what weightlifting is all about. And now luckily we're slowly getting back into that realm of realism, and people are now, thanks to social media as well, that we're spreading that message more, and we're spreading it faster to a broader audience. The fact that if you do lift, you will not look like Arnold, and that takes putting needles in your butt basically to do that. So I think people are finally realizing that that's not going to happen. So to somebody brand new, look, it's just giving them the information. That's really what it is. I mean, and I did the video, and hopefully you guys have seen that. If not, it's on it's in your Coach Online office. It's also on my YouTube about talking. It's like 2 or 3 minute long. It's talking specifically about this subject, about weightlifting, why everyone should and why women should especially, and why you're not going to get bulky. So you don't have the hormones. You don't have enough testosterone in your body to actually do it. I mean, you have the equivalent testosterone of a 6-year-old boy in your body. So it's not going to happen. Unless your voice starts getting as deep as mine and you start growing a beard, I really wouldn't worry about the testosterone aspect of it. And, when it comes to weights, you just got to give them the information of what weightlifting does. And what muscle activation does. So you can even stay away from the word weights. You can talk about muscle activation, building muscle. What happens when you do that? You burn more calories for longer. It's called EPOC / afterburn. There's just so many things out there, and you can take 2 minutes and Google what happens to your body when you lift weights, and the list will pop up. So it's just really giving the beginners information to get rid of all the misnomers.
Cool. Yeah, we've got a good one from your wife as well. She did a quick little live that's perfect. Not that I don't like it coming from you, but it's always nice coming.
Hey, look, take it from anybody, take it from Brianna. Absolutely. I mean, she's been weightlifting for over a decade now, and looks phenomenal. And I don't feel like my manhood's threatened at all, except sometimes when she lifts a little bit more than me, but that's my fault. I got to just step it up.
I've got a couple quick questions to help some of the coaches, just because they get a lot of questions like this. Number one, and I know, again, I keep coming back to why this program's so awesome. I know you like to indulge. How do you indulge and then come back? Yeah. How do you indulge and then come back? And then for those people who've indulged too far, and February is a horrible month for this, with the gloom and doom, with the grayness up in Canada anyway, how do you indulge and come back? And if you've gone too far, how do you get out of a rut?
Yeah. Indulging. Yeah. I am, again, come from the bartending world, and I love my booze. That's my thing. And then, my burgers and beer. I'm the savory food guy. I'm not a sweets person. My wife's a sweets person, but I'm not. I can say no to sugar. It doesn't tempt me at all. But if you put a cheeseburger under my nose, it's going away. I'm eating it. So if you put a scotch next to me, I'm really happy with. You're my best friend at that point if you give me a burger and scotch. So I'm all about it. But look, it just comes down to the consistency. If you can develop consistent habits, and there's so many things out there. People say that it's balance. To which I'm like, I don't know about balance. Balance in my mind, it means 50-50, and that doesn't necessarily work for me. I call it real life. So people talk about balance, people talk about the 80-20 rule. You guys, I don't know what 20% means when it comes to trying to figure out my week. That's way too much math. I don't want to think about that. I think about more of just staying consistent. That's why we did with the Lift 4 nutrition program, for instance. It has a cheat day. The calling it the cheat day, I went back and forth on that, and they ended up calling that. It's not my favorite thing. I would have rather, maybe live your life day or something like that, because sometimes that, cheat can be negative. But, a 1-to-6 ratio, that's a lot easier to understand, right? 6 days on, 1 day off, where you just loosen the reins a little bit. And, just if you do that for long enough, when you develop, and this also goes in with the muscle building as well, is that if you're doing this stuff long enough, past 8 weeks, so let's say if you can get this consistent going for a year, 8 months, 6 months, whatever it is, then those indulgences don't affect you as much. And if you're also consistent enough, then those indulgences some of them start to go away, like the cravings start to go away. And, perfect example, we got back yesterday. We were over in Switzerland for a week and skiing with some friends and had a great time. And the indulgences were real, man. I tell you what, they got their croissants down, like chocolate didn't do anything for me, but those, like the croissants, the pastries, it was amazing. And I had a lot of them. And, but I tell you what, a week, as you say, going too far indulgences is, we've been so consistent for so long that even that actually a week, like we were ready to come back. Yesterday, it was like, okay, man, that was fun. We've like, that's enough indulging. Like you're start just feeling like shit. You really want to get back on track and get your shakes every day and, whatever it is. But that's really what it comes down to is building that consistency longer than 8 weeks. The 8 weeks is a jumping off point. I don't care if it's 6 weeks, 30 days, whatever it is. Use these as jumping off points and then just try to maintain some consistency without depriving yourself. And that's my last point to this is just, I hate deprivation. I don't believe in it. I don't think it works. If you want a super, super shredded six pack and walking around ladies at, 15% body fat and guys under 10% body fat, then yeah, you got to deprive yourself of the treats. Not food, but you have to. So, but in reality, in real life, I don't want a super shredded six pack unless I got to do a photo shoot, man, because that means I'm not eating my cheeseburgers and I don't like that. So I'm not a fan of deprivation diets at all.
And tagging on to nutrition and food, how important is it to you, like the performance line or Shakeology, and how does that come into play with the whole real life scenario that you live?
I'll tell you what, the performance line was that I have tried, I think, every pill and powder out there in the past 15 plus years, especially working in the gym world. That stuff come through, and I'm not talking about steroids. I'm just talking about like every pre-workout, every post-workout, BCAs. Like I've tried it all over the years. And Brianne, if you combine Brianne and I know we have, because we both love pills and powders when it comes to pre-workouts and things like that. So we tried all that stuff, and I was really excited when Beachbody came out with their performance line. I've been to the lab that's over here in El Segundo. I've been down there. I've seen what they go through. I've seen the process. I've seen everything. And I was excited about seeing that they really put the thought and the testing behind it. And then, the ingredient list, I don't like any ingredient list. I know about, 2 of the 8,000 things that are usually on these lists. But, the nice thing about Beachbody Performance products is it's a pretty small list, which makes you feel pretty good about that. And especially this day and age, and people are always like, well, you can go get a protein powder or a pre-workout at the store for, half the price. I'm like, well, yeah, it's also double the ingredients. So it just makes it that much cheaper to make. And so that's how they can charge less. So I was excited about pulling the Beachbody Performance products really into Live 4, and especially in the world of protein. And the protein, look, protein is the synthesis for muscle building. That is what your body craves. That is what your body needs to build muscle and maintain it. So, and it's also quite hard to get as much as the adequate protein, daily protein intake from just food alone. So having these, that's why it's called supplement, right? Because we're not getting all these different things that we need. So in my mind, for full, people always ask, well, do I really need Beachbody Performance to, maximize or to get, results out of Live 4? No, you don't. You don't need Shakeology to get results out of Live 4 or any program. But if you want to get the best possible results and maintain them long term, then yeah, you got to pull in at least Beachbody Performance Recover. That's a no-brainer in my book to get the extra protein. Shakeology is amazing as well in terms, because it's not a protein shake. As we know, it's a dense nutrition shake, and it gives you all the it's a superfood shake. It gives you all the food, the nutrients that you're missing throughout the day. And I've noticed a difference. I've never. Shakeology I've always been super consistent with it. This year I was like, I'm going to go after, just like a New Year's resolution. So I'm going to go with everybody else, and have been pretty consistent with it. And I've noticed the difference just through day to day, how my energy, and, it's just an additional step of adding it, into this daily consistency. So, I think most people are taking supplements anyway. Why would they not want to take the best?
Yeah, cool. I know both. There's quite a few people. As I'm looking up here, I see all the coaches. I know you and your wife get to do stuff together. My wife's incredibly supportive. Melinda, I see her working out with her hubby, and Rachel. And I don't want to say squash the excuses, but what some advice for people who might not have the same kind of support that we do? What would you do to, like, if you could just shake them and make them wake up? What's your advice to people? I know it's a tough question. But.
No, look, it's a tough question because that's a tough scenario, and it's unfortunately really common, and it's way more common than it should be. But unfortunately, there's just a lot of assholes out there that for some reason don't want to support their significant other who's trying to better themselves. And, I don't get it. It boggles my mind. I can't imagine, if someone says they love somebody, how they wouldn't want to support them in anything they do. So without getting too into relationships, but it's more like, look, if you are doing something to better your life, then good, keep going. And if there's somebody that, I don't care if it's your husband, your wife, or whatever, if they're not supporting with you, there's a certain point where you just got to say screw them and just keep going on it and say, look, I'm doing this for me. I don't care if you're a wife, a husband, a mother, a father. Yes, you have responsibilities, but if you're not happy with yourself, if you can't take care of yourself physically, mentally, and how can you be responsible for the happiness and well-being of anybody else? Right. And I know it's easy to say because I don't have children because
You got cats.
I got cats, and it's like the exact same thing, right? They're just as needy. No, probably not. But I have noticed, my 3.5 years as a Big Brother and the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and my little guy, he's 10 now. We got matched up when he was 7, and he's definitely become more of a son to me than anything else. And he stayed with us from time to time when his mom goes out of town, and I get so that. It takes a lot of energy and stuff like that. But I tell you what, man, there's things you got to do. You got to put yourself first in instances when it comes to your health and your mental health, your physical health and your mental health. You have to put yourself first, and don't ever let anybody make you feel guilty about doing that, because if anybody's trying to make you feel guilty about it, that's on them. That is 100% their fault, their problem. And you need to just basically give them the middle finger and say, look, I'm going to do this for me, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it's a great answer. That goes the same for coaching to me. Is people, spouses who don't support them wanting to help other people. But
my favorite are the guys. Because look, it's mostly guys. We know this is mostly husbands that don't support their wives on this. And but it's always my favorite when I hear that, and yet they're on the Success Club trip for free because on a cruise because their wife worked their ass off to get a free trip. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a racket, and you're cruising on for free, or you're an event for free. So but look, guys, we're most of the time we're hard-headed, so I get that. But again, you just give them the middle finger and just do it for you.
Cool. I'm just going to open it up so they don't have to hear me talk anymore. Does anybody else have some questions? I know some people did, and they sent me some of those, but I'll open it up real quick. I don't want to keep Joel on too long, but if you guys have questions, just unmute yourself. And if you're too shy, you can just put it in the chat.
Everybody's always so shy. Like, you guys are coaches. Your job is to talk to people, and then I show up, and then everyone gets shy.
We got half the group on here are clients too. So.
Okay. All right. Well, your clients, I'm sure you have a question. Come on. We have 9 minutes and 43 seconds left. I see it.
Okay. So I have a really quick question, and this is from a challenger of mine, and she's doing lift 4, which she's about to do it with us, and she's super stoked for the lifting part. But I don't expect Joel to answer this, but she suffers from a prolapse. Okay. It's a woman problem. Okay. And she is so fearful of squats. Squats are like her nemesis. And so obviously we do a lot of squats. So what would be your best advice that I could give her?
Well, I mean, look, barring any medical issue that actually prevents you from doing a squat, then, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, look, then start with the modifications. But again, that's just to say, like, as long as they're cleared medically to do these exercises, then we're fine. But you know, yeah, look, there's always fears of everything. So I would say just start at the bottom, start at the basic, you know, just to work on range of motion and work on your confidence of it, right? To know that you're not going to hurt yourself further. So if it needs to be, whether body weight squats, shallow weight squats, holding onto a chair squats, you know, use those modifications. And if they need that, you know, if they need to know what the other modifications may be, I always tell people to go see a physical therapist that specializes in that specific issue, because then they can really, one, assess, and two, give them the exercises they need.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I chime in? I'm a physical therapist over here. Hello.
Perfect.
Hi, Joel. Nice to meet you. I'm doing
Hi.
this for. I love it. It's fabulous.
Awesome.
Just talking to the other girl real quick. There's pelvic floor exercises that you can do, or that she can do, that are amazing. And like Joel said, there's very specific physical therapy for that issue that she could do kind of in conjunction with the other program.
Yeah. Go see an expert when it comes to stuff. It's like people ask me like, hey, this hurts. What should I do? I'm like, go talk to somebody about it. Yeah.
Thanks, Deb. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My husband and I are like athletes, I guess. And we do swimming and mountain climbing, all sorts of stuff. And some of our challengers are also athletes. And they were asking me, because Lift 4 works perfectly for us, like for cross training. But on days when we have like heavy training days, not in lift, like otherwise, like long swims or whatever, do you recommend like doubling up and still getting full rest days? Or just
No, hell no. That sounds horrible to me. I hate doubles. I think there's two of my biggest things are, one, I can't stand deprivation diets, and two, I like the whole concept of doing double workouts. That's only for your brain to say that you doubled up, okay? And yes, it'll put you in a caloric deficit, but your body doesn't know anything. Like if I'm behind a workout on the counter, like, oh my God, I gotta catch up. That's your brain telling you that. Your body's just saying, what the hell are you doing? That's like way too much, and you're just going to exhaust yourself. We got to remember that more is not always better, especially in the fitness world. And if we're working, especially if you're doing resistance training, then you definitely need to give yourself that rest. But that's the whole point of the 4 workouts a week. Is there is no such thing as catching up. There really isn't. You don't have to catch up, because if you miss it on Monday, you can go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it may be. So that was really. And I don't care what calendar you're following. Like, you should never have that mindset that you got to catch up. Just miss a day, pick up where you left off. So especially if you're training, if you're actually training, as you're saying, like doing your long runs and like for triathlons and things like that. Oh my God, give yourself a break. Give your body some rest so you can.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amy. We got time for one.
5 minutes. 5 minutes and 15 seconds. The countdown's on. It's the final countdown.
Are you on the cruise?
Yeah, I'm on the cruise. We'll have some fun.
Sarah Davidson, I see you.
I unmuted. Hey Joel, how's it going? We
Super.
shared some beef brisket in LA. How's it going?
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's coming back. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I'm a little slow today, but yeah.
I was just wondering if when you're in Toronto, are you going to come to our party after? What's your
would
timeline?
love to, but I have to fly straight out from Toronto to Pittsburgh. Otherwise, I'm all down for
I know.
Yeah, but next time.
Thank you so much for jumping on tonight.
Absolutely, of course. So let's see, Mike, I see Robin asked thoughts on intermittent fasting in the chat. Again, that sounds horrible to me. I love food and I love breakfast. So, and I like to eat. So, look, intermittent fasting can work just like any other diet, but you have to be consistent with it, and it may not always work for you. Like every person is different. So I know people, just as we, being over in Switzerland with some of our friends, Melissa McAllister, she does intermittent fasting, but she's also done it for like 20 years. And so she's used to it and it works for her. So, but there was a couple mornings where we woke up and we went straight out pretty much went straight to the slopes. And, so I was like intermittent fasting against my will for a couple days, and man, I was miserable. Like I just didn't feel good about it. Like it's just, plus if something happens and you can't do it, if you only do it for a couple days and you can't do it for another couple days, you're not doing yourself any good, because your body is just going to say, oh man, I don't know when I'm going to eat again. So it's going to hold on to everything. So intermittent fasting works, but you got to keep it long-term. And I'm not talking like a week. I'm talking like months, years, to really get into it. I just don't, I think unless you're willing and able to really, adopt that lifestyle, then don't. It's not necessary. Just the Live 4 nutrition plan, for instance, it's so basic. We didn't reinvent anything. It's seriously 30, 40, 30% protein, 40% carbs, 30% fats, which most nutrition plans are based on anyway. And it's just balancing out your macros and getting you into a something that's consistent and sustainable. And doing that, and that's what Brianne and I do on a daily basis. We follow that macro layout, the 30, 40, 30. 40% carbs, guys. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are energy for your body. So I like carbs as well. Like being a savory foods guy, it's one of my favorite things. So I think you got to be consistent, and you got to be realistic in what you actually are going to be able to do long term, because that's where the goal. That's when you're really going to see the long term results, is finding these things besides the fads and keto or whatever you want to do. Again, I don't like depriving your body of anything.
No, that's always my answer to that one too.
Yeah.
Not intermittent fasting, but the keto thing. I'm glad that didn't even come up. It's not worth the time even talking about it. So again, I know a lot of the people here, unless someone else had a really fast one.
We got less than a minute, so I'm guessing not.
Cool. A lot of us are going to see you this summer in Indy, which is awesome. I know I did the one last year at Indy, and you absolutely destroyed us. So thanks for coming on. Totally appreciate it. I know everybody's looking forward to doing this next Monday. And again, thanks for being real and having a real program that we can all follow.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, just tag me in all your stuff that you're doing, Joel Freeman Fitness. I love to see it. No one else is watching my Instagram page but me. So I love seeing all the posts and the comments and the tags. So keep doing it. And thank you for everything that you guys do, and see you on the cruise, see you in Indy, see you in Toronto. I'm going to go to bed.
Cool. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. See you later.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks.
Rachel,
Thanks,
I can ask a quick question there.
Is he gone? I'm dying. Is he gone?
Why didn't you ask a question?
Because I'm watching everybody watching him, and everyone has these googly eyes. I'm laughing so hard. I'm crying.
Did I have googly eyes? I thought I was really cool.
You're too professional.
Oh, damn it.
Oh my God.
Oh,
That was
I
awesome.
thought I was going to have to turn my camera off. I'm like, oh my God, I can't handle this.
Real quick, after the recording's up, and I'll post it, go back and record some of the things he said. Use them in your stories.